So today we're talking about business planning and your goals for next year. We're going to start off with the market update though. It's real short because I know that's always a popular thing. So consumer price index came out. If you saw it, it was a little bit lower than expected, which was good news for our markets. And remember, we were dropping off 0.9 from last year, and we were adding 0.4. So that's why overall inflation did drop a little bit. And the markets liked it last week, or 2 weeks, was it 2 weeks ago? I can't even keep track anymore, but they liked it, and rates got a little bit better that day. Friday, the market was closed for Veterans Day. Monday, we lost a little bit of the gains. Tuesday, we gained it back, so you know how it goes. But I'll show you how it affected rates in a minute. But if you recall, we were talking about peak inflation when we were going to hit it, and we kept saying, wait till we get October's readings, which comes out in November, and that's exactly what happened. And just a reminder, there is a Fed meeting on December 14th where they are expected to raise the federal funds rate another 50 basis points. So they are starting to back off because they can overcorrect too. So that's the danger we're in now, where what to do. And there's the headline inflation and the core inflation. The core inflation pulls out food and energy, just as a reminder on that. So I belong to MBS Highway, where I follow where the mortgage bonds are trading at, and we do a survey every month. This just came out like 3 days ago, and this is loan officers and realtors all over the country can do the survey every month, and then they give us the graphic of how we see the market, right, instead of a statistic that's 3 months old, because we want more time-sensitive stuff. And so if we are in the Mid-Atlantic, so there 21% of realtors and lenders said activity is up, 79% said it's down, and pricing pressure, 49% said that we're getting a lot more pricing pressure. Would you agree with that than we had, compared to 7% saying that stuff's selling above asking? So just last week when we got, or I should say yesterday, we got mortgage applications for last week. Purchases were up 4%, which is good. And I will say that too. We've seen an increase in leads coming in and contracts and stuff compared to where we were. So I would say on a local level, I'm seeing it too. Remember, these are national numbers, so we're down 46% year over year. On purchase applications, refis, no surprise, those are down. Because of that decline with the consumer price index, rates actually dropped to 6.9% last week and are 3.7% higher than this time last year. And remember, that doesn't include points, which you will actually see here. This graphic was done on 10/10, so probably didn't take into account all the reduction in rates that happened that day. But you can see, so I would really say it's probably more from the 9th, even though Freddie says it's the 10th, but they had 7.08% with somebody paying 0.9 in points. But as we know, it got a little better. And then this is where the mortgage-backed securities are currently trading. This big green line, we like green. That's where, that was November 10th when inflation came out and rates dropped a little bit. So this red line here, that was when inflation came out last month, and it was higher than expected. So you can see how much it really goes into playing with our rates. And there is the most recent predictions of where they feel interest rates are going to be from Fannie, Freddie, Mortgage Bankers Association, and NAR, just to give you an idea. And I will tell you, I am definitely hearing that we are going to be around 5s next year. When next year, who knows? But we'll see what happens. And if you missed our announcement on social media, when we did our grand opening, we announced that we are officially licensed in the state of Maryland. So if you know anybody looking to buy, build, or refinance in Maryland, we can help them out. Or you have somebody on both sides of the border, not sure where they're buying, we are good to go. Any questions on the market update? Talking about implementing wealth. So we're going to start with building your business vision, developing your annual financial goals. We're going to start our business plans. You're probably going to have to complete them at home for time's sake, and you might not have all the data. Did you guys bring the data we told you to bring?
I did.
Good. We're going to talk about accountability and coaching real quick at the end. So my first thing is, if you were to visualize your current business, what do you see when it comes to marketing? Are you buying leads? How are you getting your current leads? Are you mining your database? Do you currently have a marketing plan? If you don't, we're doing one next month, so come back for that. Do you have an online presence? Are you holding any type of client parties? Are you doing any social media? And any videos? We all know video is king anymore, right? So I always say, if you're not doing video, get on video. And what does your operations look like? So I know some of you have switched companies lately. Ross, are you new to the industry? No? Okay. And I think nobody here is on the team, so you don't have to worry about that part. What would your clients say about you? Are you creating raving fans? Are you working smarter and not harder? Do you look at your goals and see where you stood to, are you keeping up with them? Do you need to reevaluate them? And then what are you doing financially? Are you keeping track of your expenses? I love it when realtors say it's all in a shoebox, right? Or they have no idea. They got to go through their 12 months of bank statements and try to figure out what was personal and what was. So you got to keep track of your money and your time, right? Because Morgan's telling me she was up to 2 a.m. the other night. So how much time are you putting in? And are you doing anything to build wealth? So what are your 3 main jobs of being an agent? Give me one. Come on, participation. So it's to generate leads, right? You gotta generate leads. If you don't do that, then the rest of it doesn't matter. You're obviously going to provide excellent client customer service, and then you got to manage your expenses. I love how you guys always write stuff down.
I love writing stuff down. I look back at it.
I'll send you the PowerPoint.
Great.
So what we're going to do first is we want to know our numbers. And Alyssa, I told Belinda this already. You're going to throw out your annual goal worksheet from boot camp because I had a typo on it.
Okay.
But you're getting a new one today anyway.
Right.
So,
Good.
So where did you stand net income-wise the past couple of years? What is your average sales price? What's your average commission? How many leads do you need to generate your closings? And what is your closing percentage? Because we all know we go on appointments that you don't get for whatever reason, or the deal falls through because of an inspection or title issues, or they just got relocated or something like that that's beyond your control. So the first thing we're going to do is the annual goal worksheet.
Are all those questions on there?
What?
Are all those questions on there?
No. They aren't on here except for the fact that what you're doing is all those questions will be answered on here. Does that answer it? So where's my sample one? So we're going to walk you through how to do this. So if you have numbers, you're going to need those, especially for the next packet. So the first thing, and you don't have to share this stuff with anybody, this is just for you. What is your target take-home pay? How much do you want to make from doing real estate net? After you pay all your expenses, you paid your taxes, where do you want to be net? And I'm going to actually fill one of these out with you. So we're going to say we want to make $100,000, right? We all want 6 figures. And obviously this is just from your real estate, not anything else if you have rentals or anything else. And then the next thing we need to do is figure out what tax bracket we're in. So if you have a spouse, you're going to need to add their income to you, but you need to figure out where you are tax-wise. And these are for 2023 because we're looking at next year's marketing plans and where you want to be. So $100,000, if we were a single person, we're in the 24% range. If you're married, you're in the 22%. So you can figure that out real quick because I don't have this anywhere else but on that slide. Does everybody have an idea where they fall? Okay, you ready? Okay, all right. So we said $100,000. We're going to pretend we're a single person. So we were in the 24% tax bracket. We need to put it in a decimal form. So that would be 0.24. And then we need to figure out the other side of the decimal because we actually don't want 24%. We want 76%. So we're going to take 1 minus our tax rate. And that's going to equal, in this case, 0.76. And I also have this recorded. It's going up on the Empower You YouTube channel, this exact thing. So if you need to rewatch it, you'll be able to do that. So we're going to take our $100,000 take-home pay that we want. We're going to divide it by 0.76, which means my taxable income, I need to make $131,578. And I will also tell you, I did do some rounding through this, so we weren't dealing with a bunch of decimals and stuff. So. Okay, so first round is complete, but don't worry, there's more. So second, what we want to do is find out our gross commission income. So to do this, there's 2 different boxes here, and you're only going to fill out one depending on how your commission is with your company. So the top one is if you get a percentage, and the bottom one is if you are at a company that caps you. I think KW's famous for that, right? You just pay. You just pay a set fee. So if you're, and I'm going to show you both here. So in this scenario, we're making 80% of the commission. So 80 divided by 100 is 0.8. We're going to take our taxable income divided by 0.8. So we actually need to make $164,000 in commission before our splits and before our taxes to net the $100,000. Does that make sense? And then your taxable income, if you are capped, would just be your taxable income plus whatever your commission cap is at your company. And then you would get your income before your split that you would need to get. Okay?
I did this. I did something.
You take this divided by this?
Yeah.
I did it right that time.
Okay. I said, do we have the paper wrong again?
No, I don't.
I thought I checked it this time. Okay, so there's still something else. What do you all have?
Fees.
Expenses, right? So remember, this block is going to be on an annual number, so don't put it in monthly when you're putting this stuff in. And there's some examples. So you might have MLS dues, or you might be doing some type of advertising, closing gifts, education, right? You all have to do CE. So those are just some examples. And that part you may have to totally fill out later. And I have extras of these if you want to take a second one home, because you don't know all this stuff. So go back through this year and see what you spent, or what you know is coming in the coming year. So we're going to take our income before commission split from the previous page, add our expenses to it, and that is our targeted gross commission income. So now that we know we need to make, what was it, $168,000 and change, well, how do I do that, right? So that's the biggest question. How many deals do I need? So I use 3% for an average commission split. Is that that's standard, right? Now I know you got to split it with your broker, but is 3 standard? I know some are doing.
We're not allowed to speak standard.
It's getting lower.
I do know some companies are offering 2.5, which
A lot of companies.
boggles my mind. But okay, that's a different topic. So, so we're going to take 3, of course, put in decimal form is 0.03. You're going to take your targeted gross commission income divided by whatever your average, how about we say that, your average split is. And so this person needs to do $5.6 million in change in sales. And that's to net that $100,000. And then we want to figure out, well, how many transactions is that going to take me? So we're going to take that 5.6 million, we're going to divide it by our average sales price, which that's probably low for around here.
Yeah.
What is the average sales price these days? Like 280 or something?
I was thinking 230 something, but I'm.
Well, I can tell you our average loan amount's 230, so that means I look at it that the average sales price has got to be higher then.
280.
I could be wrong. I mean, you guys know what your stuff is, so.
Some do, some don't.
That's true. That is true.
That's me.
So in this scenario, this person needs 32 transactions to make that happen. So we need to figure out, and if you're an existing agent, you know how many buyers you deal with versus how many sellers. So you need to get an idea of that, or where you're targeting at least. So in this scenario, this person's targeting 35% sellers and 65% buyers. So you're just going to multiply it by the 32 transactions that we need to get to figure out how many seller sides. We need, 11, and we need 21 buyer sides. Does that make sense? I see people writing, so I don't want to. Good. So then we need to figure out what our success rate is, because as we said, we're not going to meet with 11 sellers and get 11 listings. If you do, that's great and you're awesome. But reality is you probably are not going to get all 11, right?
You're a unicorn.
Yeah, you're definitely a unicorn. So in this scenario, we're saying that of the 11 people, or of the 11 transactions, we're going to say that 85% of them close. Okay, so which really means we need 13 listings to make sure we close 11. You follow that? And then with the 13 listings, maybe we only land 60% of the appointments. So we actually need to meet with 22 sellers to land 13 listings to actually close 11. Does that make sense? You're shaking your head yes. So I'm going to, Kelly, are you with me?
With you. Okay. All right, go.
Yeah. And then you're going to do the same thing on the buyer side. So we need 21. Maybe we only actually close 80% of them. So that means we need 27 actual good buyers that we're working with. And then the last page, you're just going to put it all together. So here's your plan then. $100,000 take-home income. We need to make $168,000 in gross commission, which is $5.6 million in transactions, which equates to 32 total transactions, 11 seller, 21 buyer. And then to make that happen, we need 27 buyer that are engaged and 22 listing appointments. Does that make sense? Is that overwhelming? Belinda's a little like, oh.
Yeah.
You can do it. You can do it. And I don't know what your goals are. I mean, make them attainable. Don't put it that you're going to make $1 million and you're not going to make $1 million your first year, right? So, make it something that's attainable, because you want to feel good about it, not like, oh, I'm so far behind. All right. Yeah. So with this, you want to also define your ideal client. So who are they? What type of houses do they like to buy? Do you have a particular, I say niche, is it supposed to be niche? Or does it depend how you
Heard
use
it
it?
both ways.
I like
Both
niche.
ways.
If I say it wrong, I'm sorry. How do you connect with them? Maybe they're people that like to text. Maybe they want to be in person. Oops. And so you need to figure out who your ideal client is, because we all have this scarcity mindset, and I'm guilty of this too, where we want to work with everybody, right? Because you want to close another transaction. But reality is that one that you're working with may take up a ton of your time, and it may be a $100,000 sale, and we all know the ones you put the most into, you make the least, right? Or least appreciative. But if you didn't work with that person, you might have been able to get 3 other people that bought $200,000 houses. So I'm just saying, make sure you know who you want to work with and work with those people. And it's okay to fire people. I've done it. I've fired agents before. It's okay to fire people or just tell them that you're just not a good fit would be the nice way to do it. It's okay. Or refer them out to somebody that is their niche. And 40% of McDonald's profits comes from their Happy Meals. They know who their target market is, don't they? Don't they advertise to those? I mean, I don't see McDonald's commercials when I watch TV. But then again, I'm not watching cartoons and Sesame Street or whatever. So maybe that's why I don't see it. But I'm not their target market. So, and where are you getting your leads and your listing appointments? So these are just some ideas. You all know about them, but you're going to need that for your next part. So open houses, lead capture, networking. Does anybody door knock anymore? I'm proud of you.
We've tried.
How's it go?
Not good.
Well, I would think in today's day and age, they're probably a little hesitant to open the door.
I think timing is important too. We did it on Good Friday. And we thought this would be great because everyone's home from work, so then we'll get to like meet a lot of people. But then at the same time, it was like they were home from work and they were almost like, we're home from work. It was the first nice day of the spring. Like, we don't really care what you have to say. We're getting ready for family.
Yeah.
And we weren't necessarily doing like real estate door knocking for, we went to the chamber, and I don't know if you guys are in parts of the chamber or whatever, or they might just give this to you for free, but they literally gave us bags for free of just information about the neighborhood, events, different stuff coming up. Here's a book with recipes in it. Here's all the local restaurants. Here's all the local like farmers markets. So we went and we wrote notes like, hey, you know, just hope to see you at some of these local events this year. So it wasn't like as intimidating.
Yeah.
Some people were like, oh, this is so great, thank you so much. And then other people were like, thanks, bye. It's hard. I don't have good strategies for it.
I like it though, because it wasn't a big sales pitch. So when Hook and Ekman started 17 years ago, 18 years ago, a long time ago. We started out the same time, is how I know this. And they went around on rollerblades in development, and they didn't hand out they didn't hand out their own card. They handed out another person on the team's card, which I thought was really good because then it brought that sales level down of, hey, hi Morgan, my name's Rebecca, but just want to let you know we started a new company. Obviously that's part, so it would be different. Here's Luann, who's on our team. I just want to give you her card in case you need any real estate needs. And that really, it's how they got started. So it's just a neat way of doing it.
I went in my mom's development and I got to 2 houses because they're all old people. So like, I mean, you're there for an hour.
Oh.
Just like, I'm gonna get you something, please, can I get you?
I've heard of people doing it before open houses and then after open houses. Going around with like a print off of the NMLS sheet being like, hey, I just want to let you know we have an open house this weekend in your neighborhood. And if you know anybody that wants to come, not only are you really attracting maybe buyers, but you're more or less attracting listings because you're showing them I'm out and about, I'm willing to do the work, I will go and knock on people's doors and try to drum up business like if I were to list your house. So then sometimes I could see that working both ways. Sometimes people are a little okay with that because they're like, oh yeah, like I saw that house, on, Apple Lane. What was the price on that again? Or what was it all about? And then they just kind of are curious and nosy neighbors.
Yeah.
But it gets the conversation started and it's not as like intimidating, I would say, for them to like, they somewhat open the door and somewhat let you in.
So of course you have cold calling, you can buy farm lists. Attorneys, does anybody target attorneys? Come on guys. This is a long play, but I mean they're dealing with estates, they're dealing with divorces, and
I did reach out to one that was like mine. And he had somebody in the particular area where he was, but he did say if I have anybody down in Franklin County, I will be sure to pass that along. So,
yeah.
He wasn't local to Franklin County, so.
Yeah.
Well,
I get
better than nothing, at least he responded.
Exactly. I do a lot of divorces because they have to do something, right? They got to sell the house or they need to refinance it. So, and sometimes if they sell it, they buy. So, it's a great great person to get in touch with. And, you know, I think you guys did boot camp where we talked about how to, your actions that matter, and to go after them and schedule times to meet with them. And then you got to follow up. Don't meet with them once and think you're going to get it all, right? But estates, a lot of those have to get listed. And then sometimes they'll go to a family. Another family member will buy it. But so we get some of those too, because a lot of lenders don't know how to structure those deals. So, okay, and then the next couple slides are just your CRM. Everybody in here has a CRM, right? Do you put everybody you meet into it? Okay, I'm getting both answers. So, I'm bad about it too, Kelly, don't worry. So, yes, you gotta get everybody you meet into that CRM. So that way you can market to them, even if it's your hairdresser or whatnot, you're giving them business, right? So get them into your CRM, and then every time you speak to somebody, get some type of something to get to know them. So I met with Alyssa 2 weeks ago, I think it was. I now know that, is she your fiance?
No, we're
Boyfriend.
not engaged.
Okay, just boyfriend.
Like 7 years,
But they have rental properties, and they're always looking to buy more rental properties. And one was a family house, right? Yeah. So, like in mine, I actually put all these notes in. As soon as I leave an appointment, I'm like sending myself a voice message or whatnot, just so it's fresh in my head. They got 3 kids, or these ages, they're into these sports, you know. So that way, next time I can be like, "Hi, Luann, how's your son doing? How's the football season been?" And that means more to them than anything, right? Mm-hmm. So make sure you're getting information on them. And then different ways to communicate. Don't just think sending an email, because we all get the spam emails now, right? It used to be years ago the way to actually get in touch with people, and now it's annoying. So don't just email them, you gotta call them. We try to call quarterly to our past clients, because you gotta stay in front of them. Social gatherings, so are you doing events where you invite them, social media, still do the email, text them, and then we still send postcards to our clients. And we only do it quarterly, but it's expensive. But, you know, at least there's 100%, what do you call that, open rate, or with snail mail? Because I at least have to pick it up and walk it to the trash and put it in, right? So they at least touched it and they saw your name. And then, you know, having a solid database is going to help you with all those referrals.
What did you say the suggested open rate was?
Well, print is 100% because they got to do something.
Yeah.
I think email is actually down to like 3% or something, isn't it?
It's really bad.
But text messages are pretty high. It's like 60 or something.
Yeah.
Because most people, and like the spam texts I get, I mean, I open them just to get them so they're not new. I don't actually read them though, but I know Best Buy or something sent me a text, you know, so it's still in my head. So, yep, building your solid database. And then here's an interesting statistics. Statistics state that 75% of real estate agents do not have an active database, nor do they track their past clients or consistently market to them. So I can't tell you how many times we get a call from a past client, and I'm like, "Oh, are you going back to Kelly?" "No, I'm working with so-and-so." And I'm like, well, that's not good. So, I mean, we're trying to send them back to our agents if we can, but sometimes they've already moved on, or sometimes I'm getting them at the last minute, you know, they already have a house under contract. So it is a team effort to make sure we keep our clients ours, right?
Don't put my name in there.
Well, I didn't actually mean you, so. Okay, so here is your business plan. And this, if you have your numbers, is definitely going to help you filling that out. And we are not going through this line by line. I don't have a PowerPoint on this.